Welcome back everybody, thanks for joining me again. I've got another Vintera model guitar to have a look at here today. This is a 1950s road-worn Telecaster. So what I'm going to do is quickly run through the specs on the guitar and then talk a little bit about the setup and the modifications that I did. I'll try to get some photos in there as well, some close-ups, and then we'll have a bit more of a listen to the tones. So if we start with the neck, this is a one-piece maple neck with the walnut strip, which is true to what the 50s Telecasters had up around till around 1958, 59, when they also came out with the rosewood slab boards. We've got the vintage tuners on here. We've got the decal behind the string tree, which is also correct for a 50s Telecaster. We've got a U-shaped neck, tall frets, and the neck plate is just a plain neck plate, so no F logo on there, which is, when I saw it I was a bit disappointed, but when I've done a bit of research I found out that is how they were in the 50s, so hats off again to Fender. Moving on to the body, this is an elder body, so Fender did use ash and elder through the 50s. They were using ash up until around, where's my notes there, 1955, 56, when elder came into the picture. So the elder ones tend to be a bit lighter. You can find nice light ash ones as well, but elder does tend to be a bit lighter. There's more light specimens around, so that's a big bonus for me. I like the lighter ones, they tend to be a bit more resonant. We've also got the correct pick guard on here, the 5-screw pick guard, which probably will start to lift, hence why they put the extra screws on there, but it is accurate to the 50s Tellies, so that's also cool. We've got the 3 saddles on there, 3 brass saddles, which is vintage correct again, and the pickups are Tim Shaw design pickups. Now, every pickup I've tried, I've got the Shawbucker in another guitar. I've obviously got the Vintera Stratocaster as well, which you might have seen in another video. Everything that guy touches is just amazing. So and these don't let us down again. So these ones here have got the formbar wire, which again, true to the 50s. We've got the let me see if I can get this correct. We've got the A2 Alnico 2 magnets in the neck and Alnico 3 in the bridge. This might be a slight variation. I think up until around 55, 56 again, Fender was using Alnico 3 magnets on the neck and the bridge pickups. And then around 55, 56 they switched to the Alnico 5 on the bridge pickups. So Fender's obviously decided, or Tim has obviously decided, to go with the Alnico 2, the A2 in the neck, and it sounds beautiful, so I've got no issues whatsoever with that. We've also got the correct tone capacitor, a 0.5 UF ceramic cap on the tone pot there, which is really cool to see, and we've got the nitrocellulose finish, really thin nitro. Probably can't see it here, but I'll try and put some pictures up. You can see the grain through it, which is really beautiful. And they've done the aging process, so it's checkered the finish. And what I really love about this one is the checkering is in line with the grain, which looks amazing on here. So that's the guitar itself. The only thing I can see, and I'm sure you guys will point out a bunch of other stuff, but the only thing I can see that's not true 50 spec would be the wire in the control cavity. It's not cloth covered wire, but that's no big deal, and that can be changed if you really wanted to. One thing they have done in the control cavity is use CTS pots and switches, which I've heard a lot of people say in the past with the Mexican guitars that, you know, the one thing you're going to want to upgrade is the electronics. Well, they've already done it here. This might be the closest thing you're going to get to a 50 spec outside of the Fender custom shop, and it's a Mexican model, and they're just fantastic. I mean, what does it really matter where a guitar is assembled? We've got all the great hardware on here, so yeah, no arguments from me. So yeah, that's pretty much the specs of the guitar. So this one did require a bit more setup than the Stratocaster I bought. With the Strat, I tried 5 of them, and what I found was they were really consistent. This time round, both guitars I picked up were completely different. I went with this one because it's got the lighter body. This body comes in at 6.8 pounds or 3.1 kilos, which is pretty on par for what you'll find on a Telecaster, especially with the older body. It's not super light, but it's not heavy. It's right in the middle. Give you a bit of reference, the Strat, the 60 Strat is 8.1 pounds and 3.7 kilos, which again is pretty much in the middle for what you'd expect to see on a Strat with an older body. I've made a couple of really small changes here with the control section. What I've done is I've flipped the control plate around just to bring the tone pot up there and get your wah-wah sounds, and everything's a little bit more in reach. To do that, I had to extend 2 wires so I could flip the 3-way switch to make sure the neck pickup was in the right spot and the bridge pickup was in the right spot. And I've also changed the capacitor on the tone control. So what I've done there is I've gone from the 0.5 to the 0.002, and a good friend of mine, Tino, here in Melbourne, has given me the correct vintage correct ceramic capacitor that Fender would have used back in the day, and it sounds amazing. When I roll it off now, it doesn't go completely bassy. It just rolls off just enough of that ice pick to get you where you want. So you can actually turn the tone control all the way off and it's a really usable sound. The other advantage of it is it tends to add a real nice mid-range in there, which could come in handy for leads on the bridge pickup. The only other thing I've done there is I have also taken the tone control off the neck pickup. So now it just works on the bridge pickup. Obviously the middle position, the bridge pickup's still affected, but you can switch across to the neck pickup, and if you've, on a traditional Tele, you might have rolled the tone off for the bridge and flick across to the neck, and all of a sudden you're going straight for the tone control again to get your neck pickup sound back. So now that's not an issue. So really minor things. That's all I've done there. Maybe in the future there might be a couple of other tiny tweaks. I don't have any problem with the intonation at the moment. It's still early days. If I need to, I could look at compensated saddles there. It would be nice also, just for a bit of fun, to try an orange drop. I hear the orange drops have a nice woody sound if that's what you're going for, which I think would suit this guitar. So if I can come across the correct orange drop, I'd like to give that a try in there as well. Moving on to the setup. So it required a bit of work, this one. The only real thing that bothered me is there's rust on these knobs as part of the relicking. Now the rust is in the screws as well, and I cannot get the volume knob out. So what I wanted to do was swap them around so the volume knob was in the correct position now that I've turned the control plate around, and I can't get it off. I've soaked it and I can't get it off. If I keep trying, I'm just going to completely destroy the screw in there. So that's only a small thing, but I think it would be smart for them to keep their road wear to things that aren't going to affect the serviceability of the guitar, because in the end most of us want to play these things. So besides that, I've given the neck a bit of a steel wool. They rub some stain or whatever it is in there to give it that darkened look. I thought it looked like it was just smeared on this one. It wasn't as tastefully done as on the other two guitars, so I just gave it a light rub with some steel wool, and it's just a bit more subtle now. And it's an open pore neck, so I'm sure it's going to get dirty from my hands over time anyway. So that's pretty much it, besides putting a set of fresh strings on it. It's got a set of David Gilmour GHS, I think they're still called Boomers on there, the 10 to 48s. And yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. I'm really loving it. I'm starting to understand why everybody loves Telecaster so much. Now I pick up the Strat and I automatically notice I'm playing Hendrixy, Stevie, Strat stuff, and when I pick up the Tele, all of a sudden I can see I'm playing all different genres of music. It's not tying me in to any one particular genre like the Strat seems to. Really funny how that happens, but obviously our ears are familiar to the sound and it leads us in a certain direction. So yeah, I can add my voice to the opinion that if you want to find your sound, buy a Tele, because they're really cool. And if you like vintage guitars, check out this Vintera range, because they may be the most accurate 50 spec Teles that they've come out with in years outside of the custom shop. So yeah, get in there and have a look. All right, let's have a bit of a listen to it. So the amplifier I'm running into today is very dear to my heart. It started life as a Valve Junior, a little 8-inch combo. And the only thing that is left from the original amp now is basically the cabinet. So there was a lot of hype around modifying these things back in the late 90s. Mercury Magnetics Transformer Company came out with an upgrade transformer kit. So I bought one of them. Also bought a new chassis, new knobs, new everything. And the printed circuit board that's in there now is actually a plexi circuit. It is really, really cool. It's a identical plexi circuit. So the only difference being that the output section is still single-ended. So it's got one 6v6 and one EL8-4 running in parallel. So in the other room, we've got a 2x12. It's got a Celestion G12H anniversary in the top and a Celestion G12H creamback in the bottom. The mics on there are the SM57, Shure SM57, and the Sennheiser E906. And the only other thing in the signal chain is a reverb pedal from Wampler, the Reflection, which is set on the spring setting. And yeah, let's get into it and have a listen to this amp. Roll the tone off. Back up. So really subtle. Like I said, for a bit of a lead thing, it gives you a nice mid-range. So this is all the way on, and this is off. Let's have a little listen to the middle.